Hi, I'm Carcino.
Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Carcino and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world, and I'm just giving my 2 cents on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them. Yo, what's up? This is the album review for Light Years. Nas and Primo back together again. It's what the fans was waiting on for all these years. And they was like, man, this is it. Nas and Primo is what the world been waiting on. Let's get to it. So, man, everybody was like, Zeno, you got to make a review. You got to talk about this, son. You got to do it. So, here we go. This is what y'all been waiting for. This is what the world been expecting. Everybody wanted to know when there was going to be a Nas and Primo album. And I'm like, who asked for that? Wasn't me. I have never asked for a Nas and Primo album. I asked for a Nas and Primo joint, a song, but not an album. That wasn't the biggest drawback. And don't forget to hit the like button, y'all. Subscribe to the page, notification bell, hit that up. Listen, I'm going to tell y'all flat out like this, because I want y'all to get it straight from the gut. Listening to this, I wanted to make sure I sit with it for a weekend. A lot of people, a lot of yahoos want to be first. They just want to jump out there, first listen. That's cool. You know, they want to do clicks and views, though. That's their method. I actually listen to the music. I want to sit with the music. I want to hear what the artist is saying. I want to know the vibe of the album. I want the experience. So for me, who come from albums and when people, now streaming is just song for song. Everything's more like a playlist or a compilation rather than an actual project. But with Nas, I knew he would be coming with a project and it would mean something to him. So I take it serious because I know the artist is taking it serious. So I know with Nas, I know what I'm getting. So I know if I'm getting somebody that's going to take their time to take it serious, let me take time to see, go through this. So when it comes on and it has like My Life Is Real, and I'm like, okay, and I'm listening to some of these songs and I'm just like, all right, My Life Is Real. I'm just like, all right, trying to get a feel for the album to see the lead off track is going to pretty much dictate to me what's going on, So as I'm listening to the song and I'm listening to the chorus and I'm like, all right. And I'm noticing something here. And I'm like, that was pretty short, but nothing to really catch me, So, but what he's saying is that, okay, my life is real, like talking about the wavy hair mystique. He was rest in peace to, people like Polo, all these guys, Big L, Prodigy. He's going through like all of these people that passed away, like all the giants. I'm on my jets with giants. I'm Bill Parcells. He's talking about PTSD from losing all his guys. He's like, look at us now from De La Mob, Gang Starr, Ray Ghost, Rick, and just shouting out to all the people that, lost their lives It was a good callback, but the song is not strong. It's not a song I would have let off with. But I think and Get Ready. Oh God. Scratch that song. I mean, Get Ready. I listen to that like, I'm gritting my teeth at some of these tracks, and I'm just like, ugh, get ready. Get ready for what? I'm like, maybe these are warm-up tracks. And I want to say that it sounded like for this start of this album that Primo wasn't kind of meshing up well. It seemed like they were in two locations and they weren't really synced well, and the production wasn't there. And I don't think Primo was in the right state of mind. Like this is why I was saying that people shouldn't do an album together when it's been this many years, because their mind states are into a whole different place, and the fans are still holding them to like 1999, like some Nas is like shit, like they expecting to hear that. They're not expecting to hear where they are today. And that's what I knew this shouldn't even have happened. And I wasn't excited for that. So I wasn't really like over the moon about these two doing an album together. Now, I don't mind a Primo cut, but a Primo album with Nas is just don't. I would rather the album the people wanted is Nas and AZ. Nas and Sosa whole album is what the people wanted. They asked for that. That's something the people asked for. Nobody was asking for, I won't say nobody, but the majority of the people weren't asking for a Nas Primo album. I don't know anybody that was asking for that, really. That was never, even in that day, because they've never done an album together and it was all good. Nas was not the type of person to have one guy to do the whole album. He was never really that dude until he started doing these albums with Hit, and they did about all these songs together. He just got in a groove because him and Hit, they found the niche. He met Hit during the modern era. So he was able to produce for the Nas that we know today. Oh, that Get It Ready, man, that was just not my vibe. I was not cool with that from the production state of, what they were doing. And then came the song that almost made me want to punch something, was this New York State of Mind Part 3. And I said, are you joking? I listened to it, I said, hopefully the beat change. Oh God, it was like, somebody gave you something to drink and you tasted it and what is this? That's the expression I had when I heard New York State of Mind Part 3. I wonder what the hell was they thinking when they made this? You can't make a title New York State of Mind Part 3 and put that out. I'm like, look, this song does not work. Not that it don't work for me, it don't work. And if it don't work, it don't work. I've been trying for so long to come up with the right analogy, the right statements, the right comments. I've been trying to come up with all of it to put it in perspective, to get everything right where it needs to be. Because I'm sitting on my hands, trying to wrap my mind around what the hell was that. So I'm trying to listen through Nas, through all this BS that's going on. Then Nas says, play me that Billy Joel joint. Billy Joel, and it went left from there. So he starts talking about gambling bets and put some DMX in there. And I'm just like, on part 2, I did this. I left you with 2 of my friends. And he's just going through his life experiences. Yeah, when she started talking about the Knicks and Yankees and Jets and Nets, and I'm like, man, he's going through a whole team of losers. I was not happy with New York State of Mind Part 3. And I said, oh, this thing is starting off with a wrong approach, dog. That was just wrong. Like everything they were talking about there, it was just full of wrong, dog. Full of a lot of wrong. But again, a lot of these songs are so damn short. It's like, my God, they feel unfinished. You know, it's like Nas give 2 verses and then it's done. The songs are over in like 2 minutes. And it was like, all right, that's a song. It's like, what? Yeah, they got the Welcome to the Underground, coming straight from the underground. I knew that by as soon as I saw the title, almost knew the sample they was gonna use. Coming straight from the underground. It's like, all right. I mean, again, I'm not crazy about this production on this track. And it's like, it's too much. I'm like, is the engineer on vacation? Because did he EQ this? Because I'm like, this was off. Welcome to the Underground was way off. And I was like, oh man, this album's in trouble. For real. It was just in trouble from the jump. I'm like, I'm stunned here. I did not expect this. Going through the album, did not expect that, bro. And I was like, man, this album ain't finna make it. And then there was a song at track number 5, I believe, called Madman. And when Madman came, murderous material made by a madman. I don't give a damn. I said, hey, murderous material made, and we finally got on the board. I said, all right, we got a single to left. We got a single. We on the board. The first song on this album, it took 4 songs for me to grit through till I got to Madman. And Madman is the first song I could listen to on this album. And I'm like, oh, okay, Madman. Yeah, multiple hit makers on one album. I introduced it. I was like, yeah, there you go, Nas. Get it to him. So I was up in there like, this is the way the album should be. So I'm thinking, okay, we back. The beat fit, everything. Oh, yeah, I like when he was talking about it's tradition. They hate they wishing on me. They trying to switch the story up so they don't look like a bitch in the story. It's my life, not a third-party witness story. I said, oh, my God. They switching up the stories so that they don't look like a bitch in the story. It's my life, not a third-party witness story. So what he's basically talking about, and what I was thinking he was talking about, was to him and when Nas and Tupac met, and how everybody was trying to come up there and was saying Nas got punked and all this stuff. And the people who was around, they somehow, they switching up the story so that they don't sound like a bitch in the story. Somebody heard something different. Distorted version of the truth. It's a murder in the booth. Word to Lorenzo Irv, the bin swerved. Got ink in the sheets. Yeah. Yeah. He gave shouts out to Stacks Bundles and Chinks. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Madman was the first song I got on board with, people. That's word to Big Bird. That was there. Paul's tapes, right back to the crap. Paul's tapes premieres talking about how he first started making beats and everything, how he used to record it, reloop it, and make it a beat. And he started going from there. It was just Nas rapped on this. This is probably just an awful song. Nas just rapped 116, I believe, and the song was over. It was Paul's Tapes. It's probably the worst song on the album, if you're asking me. Paul's Tapes is awful. Now, I'm about ready to just call this album the biggest hype flop of all time. Then the song come out, Writers. I said, Writers. Let me check this out. So when Writers come on, it's like, oh man, these dudes wrote graffiti back in the day. So now this is like a tribute to the subway platform writers and the people who was doing synonymous DJ, breakdancing, the true essence of hip hop before rap was the foundation that represented the culture, so it was like paying respect to them. But again, this is another song that's the production fails it. And I was just like not feeling Writers, man. And I'm like, oh my God, this is not supposed to go down like this. It really isn't. And it's sad. So then like Young Kings come on, the Sons. And I'm like, okay. So he basically starts talking about people battling, the devil and all this, the rehab centers, homeless shelters, doing all these things about a manifesto and just being in heaven and going through all this stuff. And it's another song I just didn't really get behind. Well, it was just talking about his past, just being little kids. We was just sons, young kings in the neighborhood. Me and Jabari, man, playing Atari. It was basic, but again, hate to say, but failed by production. I really wasn't feeling the track. I got the message, just wasn't feeling the track. And right now I'm thinking this is it for this album. This album ain't gonna bring anything. Then It's Time hit. Hey, yo, time flows through me. So now he's talking about the past and how long it is to being a new me. So now he's talking about, how it is from back then to how it is today, and how time is just flowing through him, and it's just like, oh, it's my old stomping grounds of my hood. Now it's like different perspectives. I'm grown, I'm over 50 now. Is there an age limit to disc records? Or maybe it's just a message, and it's trying to tell people about the evolution as why is it okay for certain people to get old and do stuff, but when it comes to hip hop, there is a double standard. They're saying, "Oh, you too old to do this, or you too old to do that." So he's basically asking the question about time and why is there a time limit put on hip hop when every other musician can do what they want to do? Ozzy Osbourne can paint his nails black still and nobody says nothing, you know, like, but for hip hop, there's an age limit, you know. He's making you guess, you know, so he's making you second guess what you're doing. But I got it. I got the message of the song. It just didn't call to me. Then comes Nasty Esco Nasir, a song I can tolerate, where Nas is basically three characters on one song. He's Nasty Nas, he's Escobar, Nas Escobar, and then himself, Nasir the person. So the rhyme is a fight against time and a fight against himself. And the gods is Esco, Nasty Nas, and Nasir. And they were all in the sandbox fighting it out and coming up in there with everything. So he's basically, Nasty Nas is talking about what he was supposed to be. He was destined for this, you know, Grandmaster Cass, Mo D in the air, all this stuff. And Esco is like, yo, I don't give a F about all that. I don't care what bothers you. I care about being fly. So the rapping, it reminds you of Cassidy the Hustler versus the Problem, you know. And ever since that, everybody want to battle themselves now. You had T.I. versus Tip. You got everybody want to battle themselves. But Cassidy the Hustler versus Cassidy the Problem was probably the best I've seen it done. But this one was very creative. With Nas doing what Nas do is use the creativity to take it to a new level where he's battling three. It's like he got two personalities on each shoulder, and it's himself and his two alter egos are battling it out. And then at the end of it, well, I'll let y'all listen to it and see how it turns out. I don't want to, because it might be some people that hadn't listened to it. But that's when I'm right back into the vibe. That was the first one since Madman I'm really feeling. Then comes My Story, Your Story with AZ, which I believe is the lead single of the album. I love this song. The song was classic Nas and AZ with Primo on there. And they carried the song as it should go. And they just playing off each other, Nas and AZ. Boom, 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 boom. Going back. I remember I did a video earlier telling you Nas and AZ got a whole album done. And some of this sound like some of the stuff from the album they've already done. Like this song is old. They got a whole album done. They got way more with some with Prodigy. That's how they were able to do the Mobb Deep album with these bars from Prodigy and stuff. So another classic moment, great song to lead off the album. Then Bouquet to the Ladies was a dedication to all the female MCs. Nas always paying love and paying it forward and leading the culture forward. Dedicates a song where he names damn near every female rapper in the game, even current. You know, I didn't think I heard Bahamadia, but I was like, man, how you name all these female rappers and didn't name Bahamadia? Well, yeah, he wanted to dedicate it saying, I know y'all feel underappreciated to all the female rappers. I mean, he even put Glorilla and all these new ones in there. saying that there's no time limit to, he gonna just name them all, and blend them all in. And, he said, even if I didn't name you, I still got love for you. But this is what hip hop is. It's creativity. It's not about making the same song 15,000 goddamn times. Then the song Junkie, another hit song. Now this is where the hits are coming. I'm like, all right, Bouquet was perfect. Love Bouquet. Love the production on that. Junkie, great. I'll be a junkie for the rest of my life. I let it flow and go back to Primo. Let's do it for the days of B.I.G. So this is about being a hip hop junkie back in the day, with Primo going through his come up with the D&D tapes and everything. So Nas start zoning out, playing stuff in his car. He's just a hip hop junkie, you know what I'm saying? 808s and that addiction, the DJ mixes, everything. So this was like a great the callback to what it was like when y'all don't remember the summers of '88. Rucker Parks, trucks and cars, hustlers, when they were still stunting hard. Y'all don't know about that. Junkie is probably one of my favorite songs on the album, to be truthful. That's like my favorite song on the album is Junkie. Now, another hit record comes out. Another grand slam out the door is called Shine Together. Oh my God. Shine Together is excellent. Production is right. Everything on this song is done right. I was like, okay, here we go. And I was like, this is what I'm talking about. Talking about shining together. We might as well shine together, baby. So it was just like, look, man, we were out here doing our thing. We crushing it. We out here doing our thing, Primo. Let's shine together. It's like everything chasing us down, man. We had like cars and all that, BET might call to play my videos all day. Man, the cribs was like mini museums, man. The closets more like small department stores. I dropped that raw. You know what I'm saying? Rhyme a few balls in and kick a few flows so I can pimp a few hoes. Yeah, it's just basically saying, man, we can all shine together, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't front for attention for ratchet sisters, till my casket dip. I want more, the truth. You know what I'm saying? Shine Together is a classic. This is vintage Nas and Primo. That song is a monster. Then comes the final song on the album, the final song on the project, and the final song is Third Childhood. Now, if you remember my second childhood that was on the Stillmatic album, that was a classic beat. Primo did it. It was awesome from the hook. And they start this off with the same damn hook. When I flow for the streets, who else could it be? NAS, no. Rex and Rex through the birth of my seed. Queensbridge, make everything right. Get yours. I'm like, dude, you just did that for 2. Why are we doing it for 3? That was the first thing went through my brain. Is why we doing that for 3? Now, the production of this beat is okay. It's all right. It ain't outstanding. But the rhyme was still talking about like what he was talking about before with time. Ozzy Osbourne can get his fingernails painted black. But why y'all want to put a time limit on rap? You know what I'm saying? It's like that's the time he was on this one. And then he started talking about 87 and the old school and how he's in his third childhood now. And he was like, look, back in the days, you know, it was a time, hear me out. I've been your age and you haven't been mine yet. So listen to what I'm saying. And that's how old timers used to talk. Like, look, I've been your age. You ain't been mine yet. That's old timers talking. Because my uncle then said that to me plenty of times. Look, I've been your age. You ain't been mine yet. So let me tell you something. Give you some advice. Yeah, he was just talking about as we get older and time turns into mediocre. You know, good turns into so-so. Bad just means it could have been better. Corporations are not geniuses. You know what I'm saying? It was just like talking about all this third childhood everybody's in now. And the third childhood is like this whole new things what he's doing now. I'm in my third childhood where, you know, that's the main dish, you know, hoping I get the dessert. That's the cherry on top. You know, peaceful on Sundays, you know, but I still carry the Glock. It's just registered now. If you made it this far, then it's all good. It makes me proud. I love that we going out hood. You know what I'm saying? Like if you made it this far in the song, good. I like that we going out hood. Good song. That song was carried lyrically by Nas. The beat production and the hook just sound like they weren't even trying. They just took the hook from the second one, made it the third one, and just made a whole new beat that was like, what the hell were they thinking? I really was like, eh. So if I had to judge the project on a scale of 1 to 4, 4 being the highest, this is a 2.5. This is a 2.5 out of 4 stars on my review for this album. 2.5. It's like half of the songs are good, half of the songs is so-so or bad. And that's just not what people expected going into a Nas and Primo situation. I know the fans who was anticipating this were like, this is what we was waiting for. This did not come off well. And I'm straight up like not happy about it. Like I hope this don't discourage the Nas and AZ project that they should definitely have come with. But Nas and Sosa should have definitely dropped an album together. But Nas' ego kept that from happening. Because a lot of people be like, AZ be blowing Nas away on the track. I heard that plenty of times. They was like, man, Nas, that whole album is dope, but AZ got the best verse on the album. Go back to listen to it. Was, man, I'm telling you, Illmatic is one of the best albums of all time, but AZ said the best verse on the album. I've had this argument in barbershops before. Nas have heard that. His verse on Life's a Bitch was epic. And people just said, I'm like, y'all act like Nas was garbage on the album. He wasn't. It's just that AZ verse was just that cold. So I'm just glad we're talking about hip hop and going through it again. You know, Primo used to make beats for adult films. Like he was making tracks for them, you know, and that's how he was getting paid for a while. You know, he was doing that. He had stopped doing hip hop for a long time. And he was doing that. Now he probably, you know, I don't know if he had some leftover tracks from the adult film sessions and he decided to use it for Nas album. But Jesus Christ, some of these tracks, I was just like, he's outdated or something's going on out there, you know, and it's like this. I gotta probably listen to it some more anyway myself, because I don't think a weekend was enough. Because some albums, like back in the day, I'm gonna tell y'all what really happened. Old Dirty Bastard dropped, Return to the 36 Chambers. We all was anticipating this album. We heard Brooklyn Zoo, loved Brooklyn Zoo. We listened to the album and everybody's like, all right, cool. And it was the Knicks, I believe the Bulls was playing the Knicks that day. And we had the album. And we playing the album while the game is on. And we listening to Old Dirty. And we was like, oh, it's Old Dirty album, man. It's not hitting. You know, like, it was like, man, like he done messed up that name, the title, man. He Returned to the 36 Chambers. He just messed that up. That should have been the name of the Wu-Tang album, not Dirty album. He just ruined that and messed that whole out with this album. Nobody was feeling the album. That was throughout the room. Nobody was feeling this album when we first listened to it. By the end of the week, Old Dirty album was the greatest album we had ever heard in our lives. We played 36 Chambers. We Returned to the 36 Chambers was played every day. Every day. It wasn't a song on there we didn't like. Everything became epic. And I was like, how? Was we too focused on the game? Or were we too focused on the game? You know, that's what I'm thinking. How did we not hear this at first listen? Like, everything was epic on here. The skits, all of it. We loved everything about Return to the 36 Chambers. And I'm like, how could we not have heard this the first time around? So it just lets you know that some albums do have to grow on you. So that could be this album. You know, I'm just saying in today's time, you got to really knock it out the park on day one. But I'll give it another listen because I definitely like the second half of the track. So I'll definitely be playing it throughout the week. But that's the review, y'all. Hopefully y'all made it all the way to the end of this video. Shouts out to everybody who showed me love and respect. I appreciate all of y'all. Shouts out to Kwame Brown, Bust Life, Seahawks, Jose Rodriguez. I know he happy with how them Seahawks is rolling right now. Yep. Shouts out to Welcome to HDII TV, still doing his thing, holding it down, keeping it real out there. Definitely shouts out to D-Style Boxing, 78 Sports TV. You know, the real ones, Blood Boxing. Always been holding it down the whole time, man. And everybody that's been out there rocking with me, who came in with the hip-hop stories and everything and love everything we spoke about in the hip-hop form. We appreciate you. And it is what it is. I'm out. See y'all on my Patreon too, Carsino for Life. Because we got something coming for you.